The prophet Micah has a refined, enchanting way of expressing this mystery. He simultaneously aligns the one who was to come through Bethlehem and the one who has no beginning and no end. It's in Micah chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. The Apostle Peter says no different. For his part, he lines up on one side. The predetermined lamb foreordained before the world, 1 Peter 1, 19, 20. And on the other side, the Messiah suffering in his flesh, 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1. Paul goes on of his verb declaring this, that those he predestined he also knew, and that those he knew he made them like the image of his Son, that his Son might be the first among many brothers. Romans chapter 8, verse 29, by placing in eternity the origin of the original man, of the primordial man in whose image we are made. And on earth in Bethlehem, the origin of the Son of Man, of the carnal carcass of flesh and blood, in which he was going to descend and elect domicile. The Bible has simply made it impossible to tamper with the human species, because if someone wishes to modify a photocopy, he must directly modify the original itself, instead of exhausting himself by working unnecessarily on the copy, on the image, on the reflection, which is only a shadow, a ricochet. And from this point of view, I have some very bad news to tell Satan and his armies and his preachers. The Ancient of Days, primordial man, the original man in whose image we human beings were made, with and in the Father of lights, there is no change, nor any area of variation, declares James chapter 1 and verse 17. But then again, Hebrews chapter 7 verse 14 seals the deal by affirming that the primordial man, the lamb predestined by the stone in 1 Peter 1, 19 and 20, is the holder of a non-transmissible priesthood. Hebrews chapter 7 verse 24. Under these conditions, it is still important to understand what was at stake for Satan to introduce surreptitiously, nightly, insidiously, a member not even of the human species, a mixed being who is hybrid, who cannot be God since he was born. Spirits are not born, God creates them personally. This is what is written in Numbers chapter 27 verse 16. And in Hebrews 12 verse 9, that God is the Father of the spirits of all flesh. Nor is the Jesus Christ of Christianity a human being. As we have seen, it simply lacks the necessary endowment of genetic code of the human species, the human DNA. Now it's time that we consider another dimension of this subject, and examine to what extent the Jesus Christ of Christianity is out of step with all the criteria of messianic prophecy, as well as the totality of the promise concerning the perpetual covenant which from generation to generation has been recalled, reiterated until its full completion in the true Christ, as Paul says in Galatians chapter 3 verse 29. So let's get to it. The Jesus Christ of Christianity at the antipodes and backwards of messianic prophecies and the promise governing the perpetual covenant between Abraham and God has trampled all the scriptures concerning the Messiah. On closer inspection, the Christian Christ is rather perfectly aligned with the design Lucifer the dragon when we consider the provisions of Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, where we see that everything is done to save the head of the dragon, the ancient serpent. There, where God, by prescribing enmity between the woman and the ancient serpent, between their two posterities, had rather foreseen the crushing of the dragon's head by the woman's posterity. The parents of Christianity's Jesus Christ, a woman and a spirit, have themselves violated the principle of procreation. They have violated it on the occasion and through the manner from which this hybrid Christian Jesus Christ was born, just like Eve in Eden, in the Garden of Eden, behind Adam's back. Eve made out with the ancient serpent, just as the virgin made out with the ancient serpent behind her fiancé's back.